45 days. That's how long you have to respond to a single piece of mail before Social Security stops your check completely. Not reduces it, stops it. Zero deposited into your account. No warning call, no second notice, just nothing. And here's what terrifies me. That piece of mail looks exactly like junk. It comes in a plain white envelope. It has small print and government codes that make your eyes glaze over. It asks questions that seem routine, almost boring. Most people glance at it, think, I'll deal with this later, and put it in a pile on the kitchen counter. 45 days later, their rent is due and their bank account shows no deposit. This is happening right now, this month, to thousands of Americans who have no idea why their payment suddenly stopped. I'm Dr. Ed Graham. I spent 3 years inside the Social Security Administration as a claims processing supervisor. I processed thousands of benefit reviews. I saw what happens when people don't respond to these letters. And I saw how the system is designed to suspend first and ask questions later. The form I'm talking about is called SSA 7162. Some people get a different version called a request for information letter. Both of them look harmless. Both of them have the power to destroy your financial life. And in 2026, the Social Security Administration is sending out more of these forms than ever before because they've resumed aggressive redetermination reviews that were paused during the pandemic. They're checking your income. They're checking your living arrangements. They're checking your bank accounts. And they're doing it with a new automated system that flags accounts for review based on things you would never expect. In the next 35 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what these letters look like. I'm going to tell you the specific questions that trip people up, and I'm going to give you the exact answers you need to write to keep your payments coming. But first, I need to tell you about Dorothy, because Dorothy did everything right for 17 years. She collected her Social Security check every month without a single problem. She thought she understood how the system worked. Then she got a letter, and because she didn't understand what it was really asking, she lost 4 months of payments and nearly lost her apartment. Dorothy Simmons is 72 years old. She lives in Columbus, Ohio. She worked as a secretary at an insurance company for 34 years. She retired at 65 and started collecting Social Security. Her benefit is $1,147 a month. For 7 years, Dorothy's check arrived like clockwork. Third Wednesday of every month, $1,847 direct deposited into her account at Fifth Third Bank. Dorothy's life is simple. She lives alone in a 2-bedroom apartment. Rent is $1,100 a month. Utilities run about $180. Her Medicare premiums and supplemental insurance cost $340 combined. Her medications cost $165 a month. Food and household supplies about $250. That's $235 a month in basic expenses. She gets $1,847 from Social Security. She's already $188 short every month. How does Dorothy make up the difference? Her daughter Jennifer sends her $200 a month, has for years, just transfers it right into Dorothy's checking account on the first of every month. Jennifer calls it helping out mom. Dorothy never thought twice about it. Her daughter loves her. Her daughter has a good job. Her daughter wants to help. What's wrong with that? Nothing is wrong with it unless you don't report it correctly to Social Security. In January 2026, Dorothy received a letter from the Social Security Administration. The envelope was plain white with a return address from Baltimore, Maryland. The letter inside had a form attached, Form SSA 7162. The letter said, "We are conducting a review of your Social Security record to make sure our information is correct. Please complete the enclosed form and return it within 45 days." Dorothy looked at the form. It asked about her living arrangements. It asked about her income sources. It asked about money she receives from other people. Dorothy filled it out honestly. Under "Do you receive financial assistance from anyone?" she wrote, "My daughter sends me $200 a month." She thought she was being truthful. She thought honesty was the right approach. She mailed the form back within 2 weeks. 30 days later, Dorothy got another letter. This one was different. This one said her Social Security benefit was being suspended pending investigation because she had unreported income that exceeded allowable thresholds. Her March check didn't come. Her April check didn't come. Her May check didn't come. Her June check didn't come. 4 months, zero income. $7,888 that Dorothy was counting on. Gone. Dorothy called Social Security. She waited on hold for 3 hours and 20 minutes. When she finally got through, the agent said her case was under review and there was nothing she could do but wait. Dorothy couldn't wait. Her rent was due. Her landlord sent a notice. Her utilities were about to be shut off. Dorothy's daughter, Jennifer, had to pay Dorothy's rent for 4 months. Jennifer had to put Dorothy's utilities on her credit card. Jennifer had to buy Dorothy's groceries. The $200 a month that Jennifer was sending to help became $1,500 a month to keep Dorothy from being evicted. In June, Dorothy finally got her benefits reinstated. Social Security determined that the $200 monthly gift from her daughter didn't actually disqualify her from benefits because Dorothy received Social Security retirement, not SSI. But here's what kills me about this story. Dorothy should never have been suspended in the first place. The $200 from her daughter doesn't affect Social Security retirement benefits at all. It only matters for supplemental security income, which is a different program entirely. But Dorothy didn't know that. And the way she answered the question on the form made it look like she might be receiving SSI and failing to report income. The form was confusing, the questions were vague, and Dorothy, trying to be honest, wrote something that triggered an automatic suspension. 4 months of no income, 4 months of terror, 4 months of borrowing money and begging landlords and wondering if she'd end up homeless because of a form she didn't understand. This is what I mean when I say the system is designed to suspend first and ask questions later. Social Security doesn't call you to clarify your answers. They don't send someone to explain the questions. They see something that looks like a problem and they stop your payments while they investigate. The investigation can take weeks. It can take months. And during that entire time, you get nothing. Right now, I need you to do something. Go to wherever you keep your mail. Check for any envelope from the Social Security Administration. If you see one, do not throw it away. Do not put it in a pile to deal with later. Open it right now. If it's a form asking about your income, your living arrangements, your bank accounts, or anything else about your personal situation, you need to respond immediately. Not tomorrow, not this weekend, now. And if you're not sure how to answer the questions, keep watching because I'm going to show you exactly what to say. Comment below and tell me, have you received a letter from Social Security in the past 6 months that you weren't sure how to handle? Comment got one if you received something confusing from SSA. Comment not yet if you haven't received anything. Comment already responded if you got a form and sent it back. I need to see this data because the number of these letters going out right now is unprecedented. Social Security is reviewing millions of cases in 2026, and most people have no idea what they're supposed to do when they receive one. Comment now, then keep watching. Let me explain why this is happening now, because understanding the why helps you understand how serious this is. During the pandemic, Social Security paused most of their routine reviews. They call these reviews redeterminations. A redetermination is when Social Security checks your current situation against their records to make sure everything still matches. For regular Social Security retirement benefits, redeterminations are relatively rare. Social Security already knows your earnings history because your employers reported it. They already know your benefit amount because they calculated it when you retired. But for SSI, supplemental security income, redeterminations are constant because SSI is based on your current financial situation, not your work history. If your income changes, your bank balance changes, your living arrangements change, your benefits can change too. Here's where it gets complicated, and this is what trips up people like Dorothy. Social Security uses the same mailing systems, the same forms, and often the same wording for both programs. So when you get a letter asking about your income and your living arrangements, you might not know if they're asking because you receive SSI, or if it's just a routine check on your retirement benefits, or if there's been some kind of error in your file. The form doesn't make this clear. The letter doesn't make this clear. And when you answer the questions, you might accidentally provide information that triggers an SSI review process, even though you don't receive SSI. That's what happened to Dorothy. She received Social Security retirement, not SSI. But the way she answered the question about her daughter's financial help made the automated system think she might be receiving SSI with unreported income. The system flagged her account. The system suspended her payments. And Dorothy spent 4 months in financial hell because of a misunderstanding that should never have happened. Now in 2026, Social Security is playing catch up on all the reviews they paused during the pandemic. They're sending out millions of SSA 7162 forms. They're conducting what they call living arrangement reviews. They're using a new automated system called AFI, Access to Financial Institutions, that actually checks your bank accounts directly. That last part is important, so let me say it again. Social Security has a system that checks your bank accounts. They can see your balance. They can see deposits coming in. They can see patterns of activity. They don't do this for everyone. They do it for SSI recipients and for people they suspect might be receiving benefits they're not entitled to, but the criteria for who gets checked and who doesn't is not always clear. If you receive SSI, assume they're looking at your bank account. If you've received a redetermination letter recently, assume they might start looking at your bank account. If you have deposits coming in from sources you haven't reported, you need to address that immediately. Because here's what happens if they find something they don't like. They don't call you to ask about it. They suspend your payments and send you a letter explaining why. And then you have to prove to them that everything is legitimate before they'll turn your payments back on. This is the redetermination trap. You get a letter that seems routine. You answer it the best you can, and then your payments stop because something in your answer or something in your bank records or something in their automated system triggered a flag. The system assumes the worst. The system stops your money and you're left trying to prove your innocence while your rent comes due. Let me tell you about Eugene, because Eugene's story shows you how the bank account surveillance actually works. Eugene Patterson is 67 years old. He lives in Louisville, Kentucky. He receives SSI because he has a disability that prevents him from working. His monthly SSI benefit is $943. SSI has very strict rules about resources. If you have more than $2,000 in assets, you can lose your benefits. Bank accounts, savings, investments, even some personal property, it all counts. Eugene knows this. He's careful. He keeps his checking account balance low. He doesn't have a savings account. He doesn't have investments. He's been getting SSI for 9 years without any problems. In December 2025, Eugene's brother passed away. Eugene and his brother were close. The brother left Eugene $5,000 in his will. Eugene knew he couldn't just deposit that money into his bank account. He knew it would put him over the $2,000 limit. So he was careful. He used the inheritance to pay off some medical debt. He bought a new refrigerator to replace his broken one. He prepaid 6 months of his car insurance. Within 3 weeks, the $5,000 was gone. Eugene never had more than $2,000 in his bank account at any time. He thought he was safe. In February 2026, Eugene's SSI payment didn't arrive. He called Social Security. They told him his benefits had been suspended because of excess resources. They said their record showed he had received a $5,000 inheritance. Eugene explained that he'd spent the money immediately. He'd never exceeded the $2,000 limit. He had receipts. The agent said Eugene would need to provide documentation of how he spent the money. He would need to submit a request for reinstatement. His case would be reviewed. It could take 60 to 90 days. Eugene said, 60 to 90 days? How am I supposed to pay my rent for 60 to 90 days? The agent said, I understand, sir, but that's the review process. Eugene's landlord didn't wait 60 to 90 days. Eugene's landlord started eviction proceedings after 30 days of missed rent. Eugene had to go to a legal aid office. He had to get an emergency appeal filed. He had to get a letter from a lawyer to his landlord explaining the situation. After 47 days, Eugene's benefits were reinstated. Social Security acknowledged that he had spent the inheritance appropriately and never exceeded the resource limit. But Eugene had to fight for 47 days. He had to get lawyers involved. He had to prove that he followed rules he had already followed because Social Security's automated system saw a $5,000 deposit and flagged his account immediately. The system didn't check to see if Eugene had spent the money appropriately. The system didn't look at his current balance. The system saw a deposit, assumed the worst, and suspended his payments. This is the access to financial institution system in action. This is what's running in the background right now. Checking accounts, looking for deposits, looking for balances that trigger automatic flags. And here's what most people don't understand. The AFI system doesn't just look at your balance on one day. It looks at your activity over time. It sees deposits coming in. It sees patterns. If you receive SSI and your adult child deposits birthday money into your account, the system might see that. If you receive a tax refund, the system sees that. If you sell something on Facebook Marketplace and deposit the proceeds, the system might see that. Not all of these things will trigger a suspension, but any of them might trigger a review. And if you don't respond to the review correctly, or if you don't respond at all, your payments stop. Now, let me tell you specifically what Form SSA 7162 looks like and what it asks. Because if you get one of these forms, you need to know exactly what you're dealing with. Form SSA 7162 is titled Request for Information, Resources, and Living Arrangements. It's usually accompanied by a letter that says something like, "We are reviewing your record to make sure you are receiving the correct payment amount. Please complete and return this form within 45 days. The form has several sections. Let me walk you through them. Section 1 asks about your living arrangements. It wants to know if you live alone, with a spouse, with family members, or with non-relatives. It asks who pays for your rent or mortgage. It asks who pays for your food. It asks if you receive free housing or reduced rent from anyone. This section is where a lot of people get into trouble. If you live with family and they help with expenses, you need to be very careful how you describe the arrangement. Saying, "My son pays my rent," could trigger an investigation into whether you're receiving in support and maintenance, which can reduce SSI benefits. The correct way to handle this if you receive SSI is to document exactly what you pay and what others pay. If you pay your fair share of household expenses, say so clearly. If you receive help, describe it precisely so Social Security can calculate any impact accurately rather than suspending your benefits to investigate. Section 2 asks about your income. It wants to know if you have wages, self-employment income, pensions, annuities, rental income, interest, dividends, or any other income. It specifically asks about money received from friends or relatives. This is where Dorothy got tripped up. She wrote that her daughter sends her $200 a month, but she receives Social Security retirement, not SSI. For retirement benefits, that $200 doesn't matter. But the form doesn't explain this distinction, and Dorothy's answer made it look like she might be an SSI recipient with unreported income. If you receive Social Security retirement, not SSI, gifts from family members do not affect your benefits. You can note them on the form, but make it clear that you receive Social Security retirement based on your work history, not SSI based on financial need. Section 3 asks about your resources, bank accounts, savings, checking, CDs, stocks, bonds, real estate, vehicles, life insurance policies, anything of value for SSI recipients. This section is critical. The $2,000 resource limit is strictly enforced. If you have resources over the limit, you need to either spend them down or document why they're exempt. For Social Security retirement recipients, this section is largely irrelevant to your benefits. Retirement benefits are based on your work history, not your current assets. But if you answer this section in a way that makes Social Security think you might be on SSI, it can trigger an unnecessary review. Section 4 asks you to sign and certify that your answers are correct. It warns you that giving false information can result in penalties. The form gives you 45 days from the date printed on the letter, not 45 days from when you receive it, not 45 days from when you open it, 45 days from the date on the letter. If the letter sat in your mailbox for a week, you already lost a week. And here's what happens if you don't respond within 45 days. Social Security sends you a notice that your benefits are being suspended. They don't call first. They don't give you an extension. They suspend your payments and you have to request reinstatement and go through a whole new review process. This can take months. During those months, you get nothing. So when I say you need to respond immediately, I mean immediately. The day you open that letter, you should start filling out the form. First, know which program you're on. Look at your benefit statement. Look at the letters you've received from Social Security. Are you receiving Social Security retirement based on your work history? Are you receiving Social Security disability? Are you receiving SSI based on financial need? These are different programs with different rules. If you receive Social Security retirement or disability, your benefits are based on your work history and are not affected by your current income or assets, except in very specific circumstances like the earnings test if you're working before full retirement age. If you receive SSI, your benefits are absolutely affected by your income, assets, and living arrangements. Every dollar matters. Every resource matters. When you fill out Form SSA 7162, keep your answer consistent with the program you're on. Second, be specific, but don't overshare. Answer the questions that are asked. Provide the information that's requested, but don't volunteer additional information that might trigger unnecessary flags. For example, if the form asks, "Do you receive money from anyone?" and you receive Social Security retirement, you can write, "I receive occasional birthday or holiday gifts from family, but my Social Security benefits are based on my work history." This answers the question while clarifying that the gifts don't affect your benefit eligibility. Third, keep records of everything. When you mail the form back, send it certified mail with return receipt requested. This proves you responded and proves when you responded. Keep a copy of the completed form. Take photos of every page before you mail it. If Social Security ever claims they didn't receive your response or claims you responded late, you'll have documentation proving otherwise. Fourth, respond within 30 days, not 45. Yes, the form says 45 days, but mail takes time. Processing takes time. If you wait until day 44 and then mail it, your response might not arrive in time. Give yourself a cushion. Respond within 30 days of the date on the letter, not 45. Fifth, if you're unsure about any question, call Social Security before you answer. Yes, the wait times are terrible. Yes, it might take hours, but it's better to wait on hold for 3 hours than to answer a question wrong and lose 4 months of benefits. When you call, ask them specifically. I received form SSA 7162. Question number X asks about topic. I want to make sure I answer correctly. Can you tell me what information you need? Get the agent's name and the date and time of the call. Write down what they tell you. If there's ever a dispute later, you'll have documentation of what Social Security told you. That's it. No suspension, no investigation, no 4-month nightmare, just a letter saying everything was fine. Now, I need to tell you about the March 2026 payment schedule, because I know some of you are watching this video specifically because you're worried about your March payment. If you receive Social Security Retirement or SSDI, your payment date depends on your birthday. If you were born on the 1st through the 10th of the month, you get paid on the 2nd Wednesday. In March 2026, that's March 11th. If you were born on the 11th through the 20th of the month, you get paid on the 3rd Wednesday. In March 2026, that's March 18th. If you were born on the 21st through the 31st of the month, you get paid on the 4th Wednesday. In March 2026, that's March 25th. If you receive SSI, your payment comes on the 1st of the month in March 2026. That's Saturday, March 1st. So payments will actually be deposited on Friday, February 28th. Mark these dates on your calendar. If your payment doesn't arrive on your scheduled date, something is wrong. Don't wait and hope it shows up later. Call Social Security immediately. Here's what I want you to do right now. Not tomorrow, not this weekend. Right now. First, find any unopened mail from Social Security. Open it, read it. If it's asking for information, start gathering the documents you need to respond. Second, check your payment schedule. Know when your next payment is supposed to arrive. If it doesn't arrive on that date, take action immediately. Third, understand which program you're on. Social Security Retirement, SSDI, SSI. The rules are different for each. Don't let confusing forms make you answer questions that don't apply to you. Fourth, if you receive SSI, check your bank balance right now. Are you under $2,000 in countable resources? If you're close to the limit, be careful. A single unexpected deposit could push you over and trigger a suspension. Fifth, if someone helps you financially, family, friends, anyone, document exactly what they provide and how it's used. If you receive SSI, this documentation could be the difference between keeping your benefits and losing them. Comment below and tell me your situation. Comment retirement if you receive Social Security retirement based on your work history. Comment SSI if you receive supplemental security income. Comment both if you receive both programs. Comment not sure if you honestly don't know which program you're on. I need to see this because different viewers need different information. If most of you receive retirement benefits, I'll focus future videos on retirement-specific issues. If many of you receive SSI, you need very different guidance. Comment now. And if you comment not sure, don't be embarrassed. A lot of people don't know exactly which program they're on because Social Security never explains it clearly. I'll help you figure it out. Subscribe to this channel because I'm going to keep explaining the things that Social Security never explains clearly. I'm going to keep showing you how the system really works. Not how you think it works, not how it should work, but how it actually works. You can prevent that. Share this video, watch it with them, help them understand what these letters are really asking because the system isn't going to help them. But you can. So open your mail today, check for that envelope from Baltimore. And if it's there, start responding immediately. Your March payment depends on